Close your eyes and imagine a road that never seems to end. A road climbing steep mountains, crossing rivers under fire, passing through ruined villages and ancient cities. A road paid for in blood, exhaustion, and patience. This was the Italian campaign of World War II, one of the longest, hardest, and most misunderstood campaigns of the war. This is the story of the long road to victory in Italy. After victory in North Africa in 1943, the Allies faced a critical decision: where to strike next. France was heavily defended. Germany was strong. A direct assault across the English Channel was not yet possible. Italy became the next target. By attacking Italy, the Allies hoped to knock Italy out of the war, weaken Germany, draw German divisions away from France and the Eastern Front, gain control of the Mediterranean, open a new front in southern Europe. Prime Minister Winston Churchill called Italy the soft underbelly of the Axis. But Italy would prove anything but soft. The campaign began in July 1943 with Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily. It was the largest amphibious invasion of the war at that time. American and British forces landed under difficult conditions: strong winds, rough seas, scattered airborne drops, confused units. Despite the chaos, the Allies secured beachheads. German and Italian forces fought hard, especially in the rugged terrain of Sicily. But within weeks, the island fell. The consequences were enormous. In Rome, Mussolini was arrested. Italy's fascist government collapsed. For the first time, an Axis power had fallen from within. In September 1943, Italy surrendered to the Allies. But the war in Italy was far from over. Germany moved quickly. German troops occupied northern and central Italy. They disarmed Italian units. They fortified the mountains. They turned Italy into a defensive battlefield. What had begun as a political victory became a brutal military struggle. The Allies would now fight German forces across some of the most difficult terrain in Europe. Allied forces landed in southern Italy at Salerno in September 1943. The German response was immediate and violent. Counterattacks nearly pushed the Allies back into the sea. Naval gunfire and air support saved the beachhead. Slowly, painfully, Allied forces pushed north. Every mile cost lives. Italy was not a country of open plains. It was a land of mountains, valleys, rivers, and narrow roads. Perfect terrain for defense. The Italian campaign quickly became a soldier's nightmare. Autumn rains turned roads into rivers of mud. Vehicles bogged down. Supplies moved slowly. Winter brought snow and freezing temperatures to the mountains. Soldiers climbed steep slopes under fire. They crossed rivers in icy water. They fought uphill against dug-in enemy positions. One soldier said, "In Italy, the ground fought us as much as the Germans." Every advance required careful planning and patience. By late 1943, German forces had built a massive defensive system across Italy. The Gustav Line. It stretched from coast to coast, anchored on the ancient monastery of Monte Cassino. German troops occupied high ground, bunkers, and fortified villages. The Allies launched repeated attacks. They failed. Cassino became one of the most controversial battles of the war. The ancient abbey was destroyed by bombing. Yet German resistance continued. Thousands were killed. Progress was measured in yards. In January 1944, the Allies attempted a bold move. Operation Shingle, the landing at Anzio. The plan was simple: land behind German lines, force a breakthrough, threaten Rome. The landing succeeded, but hesitation followed. German forces quickly surrounded the beachhead. For months, Anzio became a deadly stalemate. Shelling was constant. Casualties mounted. Morale was tested. One soldier described Anzio as a battlefield with nowhere to hide. In May 1944, the Allies launched a massive coordinated offensive. Attacks struck across the Gustav Line. After months of fighting, German defenses finally cracked. Monte Cassino fell. Anzio forces broke out. The road to Rome was open. On June 4, 1944, Allied troops entered Rome. It was the first Axis capital to fall. But 2 days later, D-Day began in Normandy. Italy quickly faded from headlines. Yet the fighting continued. Even after Rome, the war in Italy dragged on. German forces retreated to new defensive lines in northern Italy. The terrain grew harsher. Mountain fighting intensified. Cities like Florence and Bologna became battlefields. Partisan fighters joined the struggle, attacking German supply lines. The Italian campaign became a war of endurance. Daily life was exhausting. Soldiers faced constant rain, cold nights, hunger, fatigue, sniper fire, artillery. They lived in ruined villages, barns, and foxholes carved into hillsides. Medics worked nonstop. Engineers cleared mines. Infantry climbed ridges under fire. The campaign demanded patience more than speed. In spring 1945, the Allies launched their final offensive in Italy. German forces were weakened. Supplies were low. Morale was collapsing. Allied armies broke through in the north. German units surrendered by the thousands. On May 2, 1945, German forces in Italy formally surrendered. The long road was finally over. The Italian campaign is often overshadowed by Normandy and the Eastern Front, but it played a vital role. It tied down large numbers of German troops, weakened Germany's ability to defend France, tested Allied coordination, provided critical combat experience, helped bring about Axis defeat. It was not a fast victory. It was not glamorous, but it was necessary. The Italian campaign showed that victory is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is slow. Sometimes it is costly. Sometimes it demands endurance above all else. The soldiers who fought in Italy climbed mountains, crossed rivers, and endured years of fighting for every mile. Their sacrifice paved the way for final victory in Europe. The long road to victory in Italy was one of perseverance, courage, and resilience, and it deserves to be remembered. Italy was not won in a single battle. It was won step by step, through rain, snow, mountains, and ruins. The Italian campaign reminds us that freedom often comes, not through quick victories, but through long, difficult journeys. Journeys taken by ordinary men who refuse to stop moving forward.